never thought I'd end up back in the dusty heart of Wyoming, but life has a way of throwing curveballs that knock you right off your feet. My name's Sarah Thompson, and at 34, I was piecing together the wreckage of a messy divorce. I'd been working the graveyard shift at Prairie Risk Insurance in Billings, Montana, close enough to the family ranch in Elk Ridge to feel like home, but far enough to pretend I had my own life. That illusion shattered when Mike, my ex, lost his job and skipped town, leaving me with our 7-year-old daughter, Lily, and a mountain of bills. Lily was my everything, a spitfire with my curly auburn hair and Mike's mischievous green eyes. The divorce hit her hard. She'd wake up screaming from nightmares, pick at her food like it was poison, and her teacher kept sending notes about her zoning out in class. I was drowning, pulling double shifts just to keep the lights on in our cramped rental cabin on the outskirts of town. When my mom, Evelyn Thompson, called and offered to help, I grabbed that lifeline like a drowning woman clutches driftwood. Mom was 62, a widow who'd turned the old family ranch into a picture-perfect homestead after Dad passed from a heart attack 10 years back. She had that commanding presence, silver hair pulled into a neat bun, always in pressed jeans and a crisp blouse, like she was ready for a town hall meeting at any moment. The ranch sat on 50 acres of rolling plains, with the Rockies looming in the distance like silent guardians. When Lily and I pulled up that crisp April morning, Mom was on the wraparound porch, arms wide open. "There's my little sunshine," she cooed, scooping Lily up before even glancing my way. I told myself it was just her way, over-the-top affection after years of me being the prodigal daughter who'd fled to the city. At first, her help was a godsend. I'd clock in at 10 p.m., crunching numbers on insurance claims until dawn broke over the prairies. Mom would drive over to our cabin, stay the night, and handle the mornings. She'd pack Lily's lunch with fresh apples from the ranch orchard, enroll her in the nicer school district across the county line, and even set up playdates with kids from the local 4-H club. I'd drag myself home at 7 a.m., bone-tired, and find Lily giggling over pancakes, her backpack ready by the door. "Get some shut-eye, honey," Mom would say, shooing me toward the bedroom. "I've got this under control." God. The relief was palpable. For the first time since Mike bailed, I could breathe without that constant knot in my chest. Lily started eating again. Her nightmares faded, and she'd come home chattering about recess games and art projects. I'd wake up around noon to the smell of Mom's homemade chili simmering on the stove, or find them outside feeding the chickens Mom had brought over from the ranch. The cabin filled with warmth, laughter echoing off the pine walls. The kind of family vibe I'd craved but couldn't muster alone. But cracks started showing. Subtle, at first, like hairline fractures in a dam. Mom began making calls without looping me in. She switched Lily's after-school program to one focused on horseback riding. "It's good for building character, like your dad always said," and took her to the pediatrician for a checkup I hadn't scheduled. When I questioned it, she'd pat my hand with that knowing smile. "You were wiped out, Sarah. Didn't want to bother you with the small stuff." Small stuff? Like piercing Lily's ears one weekend while I caught up on sleep? I found out when Lily proudly showed off the tiny studs, beaming like she'd won the lottery. Then came the nicknames that stung. Lily started calling her Mama Eve instead of Grandma. Mom would introduce Lily at the local diner as my little cowgirl, never specifying the grandma part, and folks would nod like it was the most natural thing. One afternoon at the feed store, I overheard her telling the clerk about all the sacrifices I'm making to raise this one right. Raise her? When I confronted her that evening over dinner, she chuckled like I'd told a bad joke. "Oh, Sarah, don't get your knickers in a twist. You know what I meant, just lending a hand while you get back on your feet. Back on my feet, as if I was some temporary glitch in Lily's perfect life. The cabin started feeling less like mine. Mom rearranged the kitchen cabinets for efficiency, tucked away Lily's messy finger paintings into drawers to keep them safe, and swapped out our old family photos from Billings with new ones of her and Lily at the ranch. By midsummer, she'd practically moved in, with a drawer of her clothes in the guest room and her truck parked out front more nights than not. She'd taken over bedtime, reading stories with dramatic voices that had Lily in stitches. One night, when I tried to step in, Lily fidgeted. Mama Eve does 4 stories.
Mom.
And she makes the cowboy accents funnier. I should have drawn the line right there. But exhaustion clouded my judgment. Part of me whispered that maybe Lily was better off with someone who could be there for the daylight hours, not scraping by on ramen and regrets. Mike had warned me once, during one of our rare civil calls, your mom's like a velvet glove over an iron fist, all soft until she squeezes. I'd brushed it off back then.
Now,
watching her tuck Lily in while I hovered in the doorway like an outsider, I wondered if he'd nailed it. The turning point came during a mandatory wellness session at work. Prairie Risk had rolled them out after a couple of folks burned out hard. My boss nudged me into it, strongly encouraged in HR lingo.
Dr.
Elena Ruiz had a calm vibe, like a steady Montana breeze, and she listened without judgment as I spilled about the divorce, the move, the endless nights. When she asked about my support network, I hesitated. Mom's been a big help with Lily, but my tone must have given me away because she leaned in. Doesn't sound like it's all sunshine and rainbows. And just like that, the floodgates opened. I was back to being a kid on the ranch, Mom rifling through my diary because secrets breed trouble. At 13, she vetoed my first crush because that boy's family doesn't measure up. At 18, she called my college dorm to check in, scaring off roommates with her interrogations. She's always seen me as her project, I told Dr.
Ruiz.
Now it's spilling over to Lily, the doc nodded. Sounds like boundary issues. Have you talked to her? I laughed bitterly. Talking to Mom is like arguing with a brick wall. She just waits for you to tire out. That night, I left work early feigning a migraine and caught Mom in Lily's room, sifting through her backpack. What the hell? She didn't flinch. Lily mentioned a kid teasing her at lunch. Just checking for notes or doodles. She's 7.
Mom.
She needs space from both of us. Her eyes narrowed. That familiar mix of pity and steel. You're overreacting. As usual. Someone's got to look out for her. The argument escalated. Voices rising until Lily patted in. Eyes wide. She beelined for Mom, burying her face in her skirt. It's okay, sweetie, Mom soothed. Mommy's just tuckered out from work.
Mommy?
As if I was the child throwing a tantrum. The next morning, Mike called. Lily's upset about the fight. Your mom filled me in. She what? Said you were acting erratic. Thought I should know as Lily's dad. My own mother going behind my back to my ex. Mike, you were right about her. She's trying to edge me out.
He sighed.
I warned you. But hey, water under the bridge. Just keep it together for Lily's sake. After hanging up, I sat in my truck in the Prairie Risk lot, tears streaming. My supervisor sent me home, but I headed to Lily's school instead. The office lady frowned. Her grandma signed her out an hour ago. Dentist appointment. What appointment? I hadn't authorized squat. I sped to the ranch, heart pounding. Through the kitchen window, I heard Mom's voice. This is our little secret. Okay? Mommy doesn't need the extra worry. Lily's small voice. But why? Because she's got a lot on her plate. Darlin'. That's why you have me. I burst in, rage boiling. Teaching her to lie to me? Really? Mom poured lemonade like it was no big deal. You're burning the candle at both ends.
Sarah.
Someone's gotta step up. She's my daughter. Mom's gaze hardened. From where I'm standing, I'm the one doing the heavy lifting. What do you even know about her day-to-day anymore? Lily looked torn, clutching her doll. Go play in the barn. Sweetie, Mom said, as if the ranch was already Lily's home. As if she'd won. That night, I lay awake, realizing this wasn't help, it was a takeover. Slow and insidious. Like sagebrush reclaiming the land. The official envelope showed up like a bad omen. Stuffed in my mailbox on a sweltering July morning. I'd just stumbled home from my shift. Eyes gritty from staring at claim forms. When I spotted the Montana family court seal. My stomach dropped as I tore it open. Petition for emergency guardianship of minor child. Petitioner, Evelyn Thompson. Respondent, Sarah Thompson. The words blurred. Mom was suing for custody of Lily. The documents were a masterclass in manipulation. She cited my erratic schedule as evidence of neglect. Claimed I had untreated emotional instability post-divorce, and included affidavits from neighbors I'd never heard of, alleging they'd seen Lily unsupervised or heard yelling at odd hours. There were photos, too, Lily with tangled hair after playdate, cropped to look like chronic disarray. Worst, a log of incidents, twisting our arguments into proof of my unfitness. She'd been building this for months, turning every misstep into ammunition. I called in sick and drove to the free legal clinic in town, a dingy office in the community center packed with folks down on their luck. The attorney, a harried guy named Tom, skimmed the papers. Your mom's got heavy hitters, Thompson and Associates. No relation, I hope. He wasn't kidding. Mom had hired the best firm in the county, the kind that represented ranch barons in land disputes. Can you take my case? Tom shook his head. We're swamped. File a response yourself. But get a real lawyer, if you can swing it. Swing it? I was scraping by on $45,000 a year. Half going to rent and Lily's needs. Credit cards maxed from the divorce.
No savings.
Family? Mom was it. And she was the enemy now. The hearing was set for 4 weeks out. In the meantime, Mom ramped up the dirty tricks. She'd pick Lily up from school daily, flashing forged texts from me, authorizing it. My coworker, Tech Whiz Jenna, examined them, spoofed numbers easy online. Hard to prove. Lily came home spouting stories about Mama Eve's lawyer buddy who'd asked her about home life. When I pushed back, Lily clammed up. He's nice. Says Mama Eve's helping because you're always tired. My own kid. Parroting Mom's narrative. Then came the protective order. Mom claimed I'd harassed her at the ranch, frightening Lily. The judge rubber-stamped a temporary no contact within 500 yards, meaning I couldn't approach the ranch where Lily spent increasing time. Drop-offs became awkward handoffs at the sheriff's station, Lily looking confused as Mom whispered in her ear. I turned detective, documenting obsessively. Screenshots of my shifts proving I was reliable. Lily's school records showing perfect attendance under my watch. Medical files from before Mom's interference. Then I dug deeper into our family history. In Dad's old study at the ranch, which I snuck into one night when Mom was at bingo, I found his journals. Pages of his neat script detailing Mom's controlling ways, how she'd isolated him from friends, micromanaged the ranch finances, even vetoed his dreams of expanding the herd. Evelyn sees love as ownership, he'd written. Praise Sarah breaks free. It was gold, proof of a pattern. But the birth certificate was my ace. When Lily was born, the hospital botched it. listing my name wrong due to a clerical mix-up with Mike's ex. I'd fixed it with affidavits and signatures, all filed away in my safe. It was ironclad proof I was Lily's mother. No ifs or buts. Mom couldn't forge that. She tried psychological warfare next. During a station exchange, she smirked. Papers are just ink.
Sarah.
What counts is who's really there for her. Her voice dripped honeyed venom. She's thriving with me, calls me mom now. I bit back tears, clutching Lily's hand. But inside, resolve hardened. This wasn't just about custody. It was about breaking the cycle. Nights blurred into research marathons at the public library. The kindly librarian, Mrs. Harlow, slipped me extra time on the computers. My sister lost her kids to in-laws once. Fight smart. I pored over Montana law, guardianship standards, parental rights, evidence rules. Best interest of the child was the mantra, but Mom twisted it into her narrative. I filed my response pro se, lawyer speak for flying solo, a stack of forms outlining her fraud. Mike called sporadically.
Torn.
Your mom's painting you as unstable. But I know better. Then testify, I begged. He hemmed. Don't want to rock the boat. I see Lily on weekends. Coward. But I couldn't dwell. Lily was withdrawing, echoing Mom's lines like, Mommy works too much. I recorded everything legally. Montana's one-party consent let me capture Mom's whispers. Don't tell Mommy about our ranch adventures. She's too stressed. As the hearing loomed, I quit my night shift, taking a pay cut for days at a local diner. Better to show stability. Mom escalated, enrolling Lily in ranch activities without consent, even getting her a pony for emotional support. Lily beamed about it, but it felt like bribery. One evening, she asked, why can't I live at the ranch? Mama Eve says it's bigger. My heart shattered. Because home's with me.
Kiddo.
Always. The night before court, I barely slept, rehearsing my case. The birth certificate sat on my table like a talisman. Tomorrow, I'd expose the truth, not just for Lily, but for the girl I used to be, trapped under Mom's thumb. Court day dawned clear and crisp. The kind of Montana morning that mocks human drama with its serenity. The county courthouse in Elk Ridge was a squat brick building, smelling of old coffee and desperation. I wore my best skirt suit, hair tied back, clutching my folder of evidence like a shield. Mom arrived flanked by her lawyers, a sharp-suited duo who looked like they'd stepped out of a TV drama. She was impeccable in a navy pantsuit, but her eyes held that familiar glint of certainty. Judge Harlan Brooks presided, a no-nonsense vet with a mustache like a walrus and eyes that pierce souls. He noted my pro-SE status with a raised brow. MS. Thompson. You sure about going it alone? Yes. Your Honor. This is my fight. Mom's lead attorney,
Mr. Caldwell,
opened with a barrage, my chaotic lifestyle, emotional volatility, the witness statements from phantom neighbors. He flashed doctored photos, my work logs as proof of absence. MS. Sarah Thompson's night shifts leave the child vulnerable. Mrs. Evelyn Thompson has provided stability, and the minor expresses preference for her care. My turn. I stood, knees steady despite the adrenaline. Your Honor, this petition is built on lies. I'd like to submit counter-evidence. I laid out the birth certificate first. This confirms I'm Lily's sole legal parent. Caldwell waved it off. Irrelevant. We're discussing fitness. Then let's discuss fraud. I produced property records debunking the neighbors, vacant lots owned by Mom's distant cousins. Gasps rippled. Next. The original photos versus edited ones. Timestamps proving manipulation. I held up Dad's journals. These document a lifelong pattern of control by the petitioner, as noted by her late husband. Mom's face paled. Caldwell objected. Hearsay. But Judge Brooks allowed it. Go on. MS. Thompson. I detailed the spoofed texts, expert analysis from Jenna. Printed out. The recordings played, Mom's voice coaching secrecy. The courtroom hushed. This is parental alienation. Your Honor. She's turned my daughter against me systematically. Mom took the stand.
Composed.
I've only acted in Lily's best interest. Sarah's overwhelmed divorce blues. Bad hours. I've been the constant. But under my cross-exam, pro-SE perks, crack showed. Why enroll her in activities without my say? You were unavailable. Why the secrets? To spare you stress. Judge Brooks frowned. Mrs. Thompson. Did you forge communications? She hesitated.
I
May have exaggerated for Lily's sake. The clincher, Lily's testimony in chambers. Per the judge's request. She emerged wide-eyed. But her words, relayed later, cut deep. I love both. But Mommy's my real mom. Mama Eve says mean things sometimes. Closing arguments, Caldwell pushed stability. I countered. Stability isn't stealing a child. I'm not perfect, who is? But I'm her mother by blood, law, and love. This, holding the certificate, proves it. We waited in the hall. Tension thick as fog. Mom approached. Lawyers hovering. Sarah, this is foolish. Drop it. And we can share her. Share? You mean control? Her mask slipped. I raised you. I know what's best. You raised me to fear you. Not anymore. The bailiff called us back. Judge Brooks ruled. Petition denied. Custody remains with Sarah Thompson. Evidence suggests manipulation. I'm issuing a 60-day supervised visitation only for Mrs. Thompson. Pending counseling. Mom deflated. Lawyers muttering appeals. As I gathered papers, she whispered, You'll regret this. But her voice cracked, vulnerability peeking through. Outside, Mike waited. Heard the news.
Congrats.
Thanks. Want to see Lily? He nodded. Let's co-parent right this time. Picking up Lily from school felt like victory. Mommy, she ran into my arms. The judge said you're in charge now. I showed her the certificate.
See?
Official. I'm your mom forever. She traced the seal. What about Mama Eve? She loves you, but needs to learn boundaries. Like how we respect each other's space. That night, over pizza in the cabin, Lily chattered freely. I felt whole. But a seed of empathy sprouted for Mom, trapped in her own controlling ways. Maybe from her own past hurts. I'd enforce the order. But perhaps, with time, healing. The weeks post-hearing were a whirlwind of readjustment. With custody secured, I focused on rebuilding. I kept my diner job for now, but applied for better insurance gigs with day hours. Lily bounced back, her laughter filling the cabin like sunshine after a storm. We established routines, homework at the kitchen table, story time with silly voices, mine improving daily, and weekend hikes in the foothills. No more secrets. We talked openly about feelings, turning the ordeal into lessons on trust. Mom complied with the order, barely. Supervised visits at the community center were tense. A neutral mediator watching as she played games with Lily. Her attempts at control surfaced. Don't eat that. Sweetie, Mama Eve knows best. But the mediator nipped it. After the third visit, Mom requested a private talk. We met at a park bench, mediator nearby. Sarah,
I.
I didn't mean to hurt you. Her eyes were red-rimmed, hands twisting a handkerchief. I just saw you struggling, like I did after your dad died. Wanted to fix it. For the first time, I saw her not as the villain, but as a woman scarred by loss. Dad's death had left her alone on that vast ranch, pouring unmet needs into us.
Mom.
Fixing isn't taking over. It's supporting from the sidelines. She nodded, tears falling. I pushed too hard. Can we try again? Slowly. Counseling first for all of us. We started family therapy with Dr.
Ruiz.
Sessions unearthed old wounds, Mom's strict upbringing, my resentment, Lily's confusion. Boundaries aren't walls, Dr. Ruiz said. They're fences that let love in safely. Mike stepped up too, visiting weekends, helping with school runs. Your mom's not all bad, he admitted over coffee. Just needs reining in. Lily thrived, joining a local soccer team, her confidence blooming. One evening, she drew a family portrait, me, her, Mike, and Mom, separate but connected. Everyone has a spot, she said wisely. As the 60 days ended, Judge Brooks reviewed our progress. Impressive turnaround. Unsupervised visits approved, with continued therapy. Mom's first solo outing was a ranch picnic, no oversteps. Just grandma-granddaughter fun. She even apologized to Lily. I got mixed up on roles.
Kiddo.
But I love you bunches. I landed a day job at a billings firm, allowing more mom time. The cabin felt like home again. Photos restored. Lily's art everywhere. Reflecting, the battle taught me resilience. But the aftermath brought humanity. Forgiveness isn't forgetting, it's choosing growth. Mom and I rebuilt cautiously, coffee dates turning into honest talks. You remind me of your dad, she said once. Strong-willed. And you taught me that, I replied. Our family, fractured then mended, emerged stronger, with clear lines drawn in love. The post-hearing period wasn't all smooth sailing. Mom tested boundaries early, slipping extra treats during visits, whispering about ranch sleepovers. But therapy equipped me. Redirect kindly, Dr.
Ruiz advised.
In sessions, Mom opened up about her fears. After losing her dad, I clung too tight. I shared my pain. It felt like erasure. Lily piped in, I just want hugs without fights. Progress was incremental, like thawing Montana soil in spring. Mike's involvement grew. We drafted a co-parenting plan, legal and fair. Lily's school performance soared, her teacher noting renewed focus. Weekends became adventures, fishing in the Yellowstone River, stargazing on clear nights. One hike. Lily asked, why did Mama Eve try to take me? I explained gently. Sometimes grown-ups mix up love with control. But we're learning better ways. At the review hearing, reports glowed. Therapy notes.
School feedback.
Judge Brooks smiled. This is what family court hopes for. Resolution. Not rupture. Mom hugged me afterward.
Tentative.
Thank you for giving me a chance. We're family, I said. But on equal terms now. Back home, life normalized. I framed the birth certificate, a symbol of unshakable truth. Evenings, Lily and I baked cookies, saving some for Mom's visits. The drama faded, replaced by quiet gratitude. We'd weathered the storm, emerging with a lesson etched deep. True family thrives on respect, not possession. Months turned into a year, and our mended family found a new rhythm. Mom sold part of the ranch, too big for one old lady, and downsized to a cozy cottage in town, closer for visits. She joined a widows group, channeling her energy into volunteering at the local shelter. "Keeps me out of trouble," she'd joke over Sunday brunches at the cabin. Lily adored her grandma's stories of old ranch days, but now they were just tales, not tools for influence. I advanced at work, earning enough for a small house with a yard, our fresh start. Mike remarried, but stayed involved, attending Lily's games with his new wife. Co-parenting became seamless, a far cry from the divorce chaos. Lily, now 8, blossomed into a confident kid, her artwork winning school awards. "You're my hero, Mom," she said one night, snuggling under quilts. For fighting and forgiving. The real healing came during a family ranch trip, Mom's idea, approved by all. As we rode horses through golden fields, Mom pulled me aside. "I almost lost you both with my stubbornness." Tears glistened. "Pride's a lonely companion." I squeezed her hand. "We all learn."
Mom.
"The key is choosing love over control." Lily galloped up, laughing. "Race you to the creek." In that moment, under the vast Wyoming sky, I felt peace. The ordeal's lesson lingered lightly. Families aren't perfect, but with open hearts and firm boundaries, they endure. We'd transformed pain into growth, proving that even the deepest rifts can mend. As the sun set, painting the plains in fire, I knew we'd written our own ending, one of redemption, not revenge. Looking back, the battle was a crucible, forging stronger bonds. Mom and I co-authored a journal, like Dad's, chronicling our journey, a legacy for Lily. So she knows family means support, not suffocation, Mom said. Lily thrived, aspiring to be a vet, inspired by ranch animals. Holidays blended seamlessly. Thanksgiving at Mom's, Christmas at ours, Mike joining. One anniversary of the ruling, we gathered for a bonfire. To new beginnings, I toasted. Mom raised her glass, and to forgiveness, the hardest, best choice. Lily added, to us. Flames danced, symbolizing shed resentments. Life moved forward. I dated casually. Mom traveled with friends. Lily a school. The birth certificate, now in a drawer, reminded me of roots unshakable. We'd learned that love bends, but doesn't break when rooted in respect. In the quiet Montana nights, with Lily asleep and Mom's occasional calls warm, not wary, I marveled at our resilience. Family drama? We turned it into a story of hope, a gentle lesson that healing starts with understanding.
One step at a time.